It was a sunny and seemingly ordinary morning in Miami. The sound of cars, the gentle warmth of the sun, and the soft breeze flowing through the streets gave the city an air of tranquility. But for Jack, that day would change everything. From the moment he left home with his hands still dusty from the construction site, he carried not just the physical weight of labor, but the pride of building a future. However, fate awaited him with a devastating betrayal. As he stepped into the sleek building where Linda worked, Jack felt out of place. The pristine white walls, the scent of expensive coffee, and the hurried footsteps of the employees stood in stark contrast to his world. With an envelope in hand, he made his way to her office, but just before opening the door, he heard laughter on the other side. Curious, he leaned in to listen. "My husband? No, he's just a poor, dirty construction worker," Linda said, drawing laughter from her co-workers. Jack felt as if the ground had vanished beneath his feet. His breathing grew heavy, and his hands began to tremble. He turned away quickly, leaving the building unnoticed, as if he had never been there. Jack's broken heart echoed with every step on his walk home. He barely noticed the people on the streets, lost in a whirlwind of thoughts. A man who had always believed in building something solid now saw his life collapsing like a house of cards. Meanwhile, across town, Amelia was fighting her own emotional battle. Her house was full of friends and family that day, all gathered to celebrate her birthday, but the smile on her face was just a mask. The memory of the night she spent with David, the man she believed to be her soulmate, haunted her. For him, it had been nothing more than a fling, but for her, it felt like the beginning of a love that never truly existed. As guests raised their glasses and laughed, Amelia mentally drifted away, sinking deeper into a tide of sadness. David, on the other hand, was facing a different kind of struggle. After years in what seemed like a stable relationship with Sarah, the cracks had begun to show. His mother had suffered a stroke, and when he decided to give up his engineering career to care for her, Sarah met his choice with contempt. What was once a home filled with warmth and partnership had become a battleground. Friendly conversations turned into bitter arguments, and each night ended in either silence or tears. The breaking point came when David, after hours of caring for his mother, had to drop off some documents at Sarah's office. Wearing simple, worn-out clothes from working around the house, he walked into the building and immediately felt the judgmental stares. But nothing stung more than hearing Sarah introduce him to her colleagues as just a delivery guy. In that moment, he knew there was nothing left to save from what they once had. When he got home, David made a decision. For the first time in a long while, he chose himself. He confronted Sarah, and the argument that followed was a whirlwind of blame and buried resentment. But in the end, he said firmly, "I want a divorce." He grabbed his bags and walked out without looking back. The world outside felt wider, as if the air itself had gotten lighter. Jobless and homeless, David had to start from scratch. He took a job as a garbage collector, something many looked down on, but for him, it was a fresh start. It was through that job that he met Louisa, a warm-hearted woman with a gentle spirit. She would help take care of David's mother in emergencies, and little by little, the two built a genuine friendship. With time, that connection grew deeper, and David began to rediscover his own worth. While David was thriving, Sarah faced a steady decline. Without his financial support and unable to maintain the lifestyle she had once held so dear, she was forced to take on temporary jobs. Her fall from grace hit rock bottom when she began working as a cleaning lady in a corporate building. One day, while tidying up a meeting room, she saw David's name on the door. He was now a successful executive. The shock and guilt consumed her, but she knew it was far too late for redemption. At an international conference, fate smiled on David once more. He met a boy named Lucas, who looked strikingly like him as a child. What started as curiosity led to investigation, and he soon discovered that Amelia, his former love, had passed away shortly after giving birth to a child. Lucas was his son. The emotions were overwhelming, and David didn't waste a second building a bond with the boy. Lucas's arrival gave David a new purpose. He offered his son the love and stability he had always dreamed of giving. Louisa became a vital part of this new family, and together they built a home where support and understanding were the cornerstones. What had once begun as heartbreak and betrayal was now a story of healing, growth, and love. As David reflected on his journey, he realized that the hardest moments in his life were the very ones that shaped the man he had become. Sarah's betrayal and the disappointments of the past hadn't defined him. They had made him stronger. With Lucas and Luisa by his side, he proved that life can offer second chances and that happy endings do exist, even if they come at the end of a long, winding road. Did this story touch your heart? We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment sharing how you've overcome challenges or started over after tough times. Your story might inspire someone else. And don't forget, like this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss more emotional stories like this one. Share it with your friends and family, because together we can spread messages of strength and resilience.